Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're wondering why we're sitting in a very dimly lit room, it's because it is thundering and lightning outside and this is my future office. I just haven't got anything up here yet, so I apologize for the dimly lit video. If you hear movement in the background or on the side or any loud like thundering noises, it is because it is thundering and lightning in here, along with raining, which is why we're up here. I would normally record without my dogs up here, but they are completely and totally freaked out by the rain. So even though I have given them both CBD oil and Benadryl to help them relax and to calm them down, they still want to be as close as possible to mommy while it is pouring down rain and thundering really loud. So we're going to jump into the movie that the movie that I saw this week with my husband, which was Spider-Man Far From Home. It starts off with the events right after the Avengers movie, and we are dealing with the aftermath of losing Tony Stark and how Peter is handling it, which is not the best. He's sad and he misses him and he feels like a failure and he feels like he can never live up to Tony Stark's shoes. And it's kind of sad to watch this kid go through that, but he seems to be handling it okay-ish. And he is about to go on a Euro trip with his class. And he's really excited because he's finally going to tell MJ how he feels. So he has this huge plan where he's going to sit with her on the plane and watch movies with her. And then he's going to buy her this beautiful black dahlia flower in Venice. And then he's going to give it to her on the Eiffel Tower in Paris. And his plans fail miserably when his friend tries to help him and says he has an allergy, a perfume allergy, and they end up switching and he ends up in the middle of a seat while the other guy is sitting there with MJ with his dual headphone jack doing everything that Peter wanted to do. And you can just see his frustration there, and it's quite sad. And then we get to Venice, where they arrive at this like kind of crappy hotel, and they're doubled up in rooms, and it doesn't look like it's a fun place to be. But they go out and they head out and they do things, and they are they're in the city, and this water monster attacks, and Peter left his Spidey suit in his room because he doesn't plan on doing any like Spider-Man activities while he's in Europe. And this thing attacks and he is forced to help this mysterious character, Mysterio, as everything's attacked. He's trying to hold buildings up and he's trying not to be seen by his friends. And he's pretty successful in this. And then they go back to the room or whatever. And Nick Fury, who has been trying to get a hold of him and who he has literally been ghosting, darts his friend, and his friend is asleep and says, "Have you been ghosting me?" And Spider-Man's like, "No, not at all. I'm not ghosting you. What are you talking about?" And that's when he meets Mysterio. He goes in and he meets Mysterio, and Mysterio does this kind of like sucking up to him thing. And spoiler alert for those of you who haven't watched the movie or know the comics, Mysterio is the bad guy, and you can kind of tell, and you don't want him to be the bad guy. You're kind of like, oh, I really don't want him to be the bad guy. He can make such a good guy, but he's the bad guy. And so he plays him up, and he tries to be like, I need your help on my world, because I'm from another Earth, and there are 4 elements, and they destroyed my planet, and I'm trying to help from destroying. I'm trying to help the same thing from happening on your planet. We have to stop the biggest one, which is fire. And you have to go to Prague, and Spider-Man's like, well, we're not gonna call him Spider-Man. We'll call him Peter, his actual name. And Peter's like, I don't want to do that here. If I'm seen, or if Spider-Man is seen on this Euro trip, my friends are gonna know I'm Spider-Man. And so Nick Fury comes up with a plan where he hijacks their Euro trip and ends up getting them on a bus to Prague. And midway there, he has this girl meet him and gives him this black suit that he can wear that his friend later deems the Night Monkey, which I think is hilarious. But they make it to Prague, and they find out that the fire element is going to attack, and Peter has to help. So he goes to help Mysterio, and when he's shooting his webs, he notices when he's fighting the fire thing that it's bouncing off and it sticks to something, but he kind of blows it off. It's not a big deal. He ends up saving his friend on the Ferris wheel who shouldn't have been there, that left the opera, and he said he shouldn't have been there. And then MJ also left the opera to go find Peter, and she ends up picking up this piece of equipment that I'll explain in a little bit, but he ends up saving them, and then goes about his whatever, and he comes back and he asks MJ to go for a walk with him, and he finally tells her how he feels. He gives her the Black Dahlia necklace, which eventually gets crushed, and she likes it better that way in the end. But So he does all of that, and when they're talking after he's handed over, or no, wait, sorry. He gives, Mysterio continues to suck up to him, and as Peter doesn't want to be the hero, he doesn't want to be Iron Man, he doesn't think he can live up to Iron Man's shoes, I mean, he is just a kid, he gives the glasses that, Tony had given to him, which gives him access to Edith. Even in death, I'm still the hero. Total Tony move. Totally awesome. He gives these to Mysterio. And he then discovers that Mysterio is a bad guy, which I hate to say it, and sometimes extremely predictable. I hate when movies are like that, but I mean, we all knew Mysterio was a bad guy. Even if you didn't like comics, you'd know Mysterio is the bad guy. It screams, I'm the bad guy, pretend to be the good guy. And so we find out that Mysterio is actually an ex-employee of Tony Stark's that did the barf simulation, was responsible for the barf simulation. And there are plenty of other people, because I guess Tony's kind of a horrible, arrogant boss that wanted to get revenge and didn't think that Peter should be in charge of Edith. And so he gives the glasses over to him. He then uses this to create a fake thing on London, and Peter has to go with the Peter tingle, and he has to get past all of the fake imagery and all of the things that Mysterio throws at him, and he does defeat him, and he goes back. I really did like the movie. That's really a short synopsis. It's probably not the best, but the things that I liked about the movie were, I liked the fact that it was building up to the fact that he could be the hero. Whether he thought he could or not, Tony had faith in him, and he could be the hero, and he is more than just your local neighborhood Spider-Man. I like the fact that they let him and MJ get together, and I like the fact that they make MJ really dark. I'm dark. I have that kind of sense of humor. I'm really, really glad that they added that layer to her, and the movie was really good. The only problems I had with it were my things were literally that they made the bad guy rather obvious. The fact that Nick Fury was a douche the entire time. He's always a douche, but he seemed a little extra douchey in this, and I wasn't a huge fan of like always shitting on Peter. He's young, he's confused, and yeah, he needs to be. He needed a helping hand, but he didn't have to be a dick about it. And yeah, that's it. I do highly recommend going and seeing the movie. I don't know what we're going to see this week, as in the middle of this week it will be my birthday, and I get to do whatever I want, and sometimes I just like to sit at home with Chinese food, so I don't know if there'll be a movie review this week, but we will see, and I will see you later.